This video will show you how your beliefs are blocking the law of attraction from working, and I'm going to share with you the most practical and powerful techniques that I've used in order to reverse it so that I'm able to start from scratch. Welcome back to another video. My name is Erin. I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you exactly how our beliefs are architectured and how they create the framework for the way that we see the world. Now I've said this before, but I believe that more powerful than just what we call the law of attraction is understanding that our beliefs are creating our reality. You can think of this in the way of if you are focused on a certain car that you want to attract in your life, you might focus on having a Ferrari, you might focus on having like a nice Lexus. But the thing is even if you think about it more often, there may be more of a probability that when you go out to Target or something that you see it there, you see more of those cars because your RAS, the reticular activating system of your brain, is tuned to it. But the thing is we can't actually allow it into our experience unless we align our beliefs to it, which will also mean that our actions get aligned to it as well. The worthiness gets aligned as well. The underlying principles of how we think about ourselves are aligned to being able to achieve that. Now this is the biggest block I think for almost everyone, and even myself. I always have had, everyone has limitations as to what they can accomplish. Now the question is what questions are you asking yourself, and are you getting to the core of what you believe to be true to then let go of things that don't serve you? Now the power of understanding this is also knowing that our beliefs are constructed from an early on age in life, from certain experiences. Some of my beliefs about the worthiness I have of who I am was developed in my teenage years. And from those reference experiences stemmed an autopilot mind of what I think I'm capable of doing. Now let me give you an example of that. When I was in, I forget exactly what grade I was in, but I was younger. I think I was like 12 years old. I was going to this Parks and Recs place for summer. And it was this time when at the end of that program, which I went like 5 days a week, there was this thing where we would go to this dance if you were like 11 and up or something like that. And I remember going and I asked this girl if she would dance with me, and she was the, I think, 18-year-old person that was like running it, like one of the teachers, I guess you could say. And I remember that I was attracted to her and I wanted to ask her if she would dance with me and we could like, you know, go to this dance. And I remember asking her and she kind of laughed at me, and then she was like, oh, yeah, let me find somebody else your age, you know. And I remember that in that moment, it made me feel like I wasn't enough. It made me feel and question myself. And I realized that even years later from that, there was always this underlying fear of me going after someone I was attracted to because I associated that with the possibility of rejection. Now, I know this is something that a lot of people go through. You know, it's kind of the conditioned thing is to be afraid to approach people that you're attracted to. But the thing is just from recognizing that that was where the belief was implemented, realizing that when I asked myself the question, what would I have to believe is true in order for something that blocks me from going after what I want? What is that? And asking that question brought me to that specific situation, and from that point going forward, I was able to see that, and I was able to let go of the perspective. When those thoughts would come up, I'd realize that in a way it's illogical because that's not who I am anymore, and I'd ask myself the question, is this true? And I'd say, hey, there was just one reference experience that showed me that. And then I can really decide to let it go, and I can decide to wire in a new behavior. So the awareness of this is where the power is, and the way that we really let it go is by then just simply taking action as if that isn't a part of who we are anymore. We start to wire in a new identity. We start to wire in new action. So what I would do is I would go out and I would approach people that I was attracted to. And then it's like things go well, and as I wire in those reference experiences, this has less effect. So this will involve a little bit of courage on your part. Say that you're only making like $30,000 a year and your goal is to make $60,000 a year. Well, under the old paradigm, under the old belief, you can ask yourself the question, what would I have to believe is true that I can only accomplish $30,000 a year? I keep experiencing these blocks. Where are they coming from? Asking yourself that question, you may find that there's a reference experience that was embedded in, something of when you were told when you were younger, something that when you were getting into college or graduating from college or getting out of high school, someone told you that this was what you can expect. and then you can decide to let it go. And if the reference experience doesn't come, don't worry. What you can still do is you can be aware that that's not who you prefer to be any longer, and from that place, then what you can do is wire in the new behavior. You can do this by deciding and imagining yourself act as if you are already worthy of making $60,000 a year or more, and what you can do is then decide that you're going to take action as if, which means you're going to apply to jobs. You're going to go into jobs and maybe get interviewed or talk to the manager, or you're going to start your own venture and you're going to see how that goes. You're going to start to take action from a place and a frame of knowing that the possibilities are much more expansive than that $30,000 psycho-cybernetic level. Now, psycho-cybernetics means that our self-image is a cybernetic mechanism, which means it will always move back to the default, which is think of it like a thermostat. Your house is set to 75 degrees. If the window opens, it goes down to 70 degrees. The AC or the heater will kick on and bring it back up. In the same way, our self-image is very similar. So that's why it's important to get to the core of the way we define ourselves to then change ourselves from that level. It's much deeper and it's much more powerful. So we can change our beliefs by simply first off asking ourselves the question, what would I have to believe is true in order to be having this type of experience? Look and wait for the memories to come. They will come if we trust the process. Now, if they don't, that's fine, but be aware that that's not who you want to be anymore. So you ask yourself the question, you are aware of whatever that is, even if it's just you're aware that you don't want to do that anymore, and then decide to let it go. Just decide that you're going to let it go, and then you must do this important part. You must wire in a new behavior. If you're afraid of talking to people, push yourself next time you're at an elevator to talk to somebody. Push yourself when you're at the gym to talk to the person that's working out next to you. Push yourself to do these things, and you're going to start to view yourself in a different way. You're going to start to re-engineer. Realize the more you step into your fear of the things that you're afraid of, you're going to prove to yourself that those things are illusions. You're not really afraid of it. You just think you are, and we're afraid of the mental construct of what we think that is. The more we push ourselves outside of our comfort zone, the more we break up that identity and we break up that mental framework, the architecture that we've created of who we think we are and the way we think our beliefs are. That's the key to really breaking up our own belief system. Understand that our beliefs are always blocking the law of attraction from working, and that's why more powerful than the law of attraction is getting to the core of the way we define ourselves. And as we begin to really implement that and we begin to ask ourselves the question, let go of whatever that is and wire in the new identity, the more that will actually change our life. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already. Also, hit that little notification gear so that you're able to get the daily videos that I upload. And other than that, I will see you guys on the next vid. Peace, much love, namaste.